Come on. Yeah. The fabulous 8-Bit Bros program. You can check them out here on Ironic Radio Network. 8-Bit Bros. That's number 8. Then bit. Then bros. One word. Strongly encourage you to stay tuned for that. And if you want, they also have a Facebook page and a much better live show. Anyway, 8-Bit Bros, 8 p.m., Ironic Radio Network.
It's 8 o'clock, and you know what that means.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the midweek show. Today, we're only 34 minutes late. Thank you for joining us. We have adult language, adult content. Do the right thing. Put your kids in their closet.
Yeah, 8-Bit Bros, hump day. A little late, but that's okay. You're
A
joining
little
late.
bit.
Yeah, they'll join in.
Can we check to make sure the sound is on?
I'm sure that's right this time. That won't happen for like another 3 or 4 weeks when there's like a major update.
I was going to say, we're not worrying about it. We're going to just let the lack of audio go out live to none of the internet.
It shit happens. What up, people?
Oh, well, have you guys heard that it is possible that they may, at the last minute, like, just call it on the Olympics?
Yes, there's been talk of still canceling it even though the prelim rounds have started.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I'm one who said that it shouldn't be fucking held there in the first place, period. I don't even. It should have been delayed for a year. I think it should have just been like moved. Bring it to a site that has had the Olympics before. That's got the facilities, and that's not fucking rampant with a country that don't give a shit about a fucking disease running around, or I don't know what do you want to call this thing anymore. It's not a pandemic. It's a fucking plague.
Damn.
That's what it is. It's a fucking plague. Yeah. I'm going to stick to the plague.
We're going to stick to plague. Okay. All right.
Plague.
Well, I mean, I felt like they probably should have well, I don't know if they did this, but I thought all along it should just be like, listen, you got to be vaccinated and we're not going to allow anyone here, like spectators, no spectators at all.
See, that's hard to say and do when the rest of the world is like, all right, let's come to the baseball stadium, pack them in.
Well,
the rest of the world is not doing that, though.
No, well, the United States is.
Like,
we've
the
got
United States is doing that, but we haven't had the best track record either, so
yeah,
room for talking shit, throwing rocks inside this big-ass glass house that we live in is kind of pointless, so settle your nerves over there, rock boy.
Rock boy.
I will cheer you to that one. No, you're absolutely right, man.
I know. Well, I mean, you led off the conversation with talking shit about the country. It's the Olympic Committee who's continued to force the issue on trying to get this Olympics done. So
yeah.
Well, you got to remember,
you started off throwing rocks, so I'm just throwing some back. I'm giving you the rocks you threw back.
They want to have the Olympics, period, because they're fucking $20 billion deep now.
Well, the people don't want the Olympics there at all.
No.
Like, the people of the country are like, please, like, we're having enough fucking trouble. We understand it's a problem. Like, don't bring your cooties from all the rest of the world and give us your Delta variant and your Alter variant and your Ega variant. And we don't need all of your extra shit. Like, please, stop. Like, it was a plea by the people for us to not come there. But the government and the Olympic Committee decided otherwise because there's too much money that has been invested into the Olympics, which is the big complaint about the Olympics in the long haul anyway now, is they've kind of run their course as a Games of Nations thing that now it seems to be a corporate franchise movement that taxes the ever-loving shit out of any place that holds the event.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So if they were to cancel, so if Japan cancels, Japan's going to be left holding the bag.
Right.
And if the Olympic Committee cancels, they have to reimburse Japan for everything they spent.
Right. So they're trapped in their loophole.
Yep.
But that's why I say the longevity of the Olympic plan has gone way too commercial, and now the Games of Nations, to bring forth the world's best athletes to compete in these open, friendly games of nations, is not that anymore. Now it is all about the revenue that can be generated off of, unfortunately, just like the NCAA, young athletes that in a lot of situations don't get sponsorship until they've made their Olympic run.
Yeah. Right. That it's really sad that we're putting. Well, I also feel bad for the athletes.
It's the commercial moniker that's placed on it. I think that's the real detriment to the whole fact. You know, to be a pro athlete, to be an Olympian, to go from college or all the training you do as a young child to be an Olympian, because they are even more dedicated than like some of the collegiate basketball players that go on to be pros.
Oh my God!
Like,
yes,
yeah, that person
you have to be
who competes from the time they're 6.
Yeah, you have to be.
And they're
so
not even
dedicated.
allowed into competition until after they hit like 14 or 12, something like that. Like they're going at it from such an early age, and they're not even allowed to compete until a certain age. And then it's all about just competing to get in your Olympic trials.
Yes. So when I really love gymnastics, not just because Simone Biles is.
I was going to say, this sounds like it predates Simone, so go ahead.
The greatest, for sure. But, like, I became really interested in it when I was, like, 13.
Right.
And it's really hard for a 13-year-old to hear that they're too old.
Yeah, you're too old to start this sport.
To start. And it was like, what?
Because
like
your body's not trained properly. Like, they weren't able to train your body properly in the growth stages to do what's going to be necessary of that Olympian body in the long run.
Basically,
they're like, you can play with it if you want to, but you'll never be competitive.
Right. Like, you can, basically, you need to start that young because you need to, your bones just going to need to shape, and your muscles just need to stay a certain way. And I was already, like, 13 is like going on puberty. So it's like, you can play around if you want. You can do we'll teach you how to do some things, but like, you're not going to compete.
Yeah, a majority of the class who's there to be dedicated is going to look at you and be like, stop.
Yeah.
Like it's not the position you want to be. I heard that it can be pretty toxic for people who are just there to do it.
Actually, well, you know what? It depends on where you go. You know, I did take some classes, and then I also took some classes as an adult, and it was not like that. Like, there were some people who were, like, clearly, like they had some sort of injury, and now they were working their way back, you know, but you could tell that they were, like, on a whole other level, you know? And then there was people like me who were like, oh, I can do some things, but I'm not doing the really fancy stuff. And in fact, I have a psychological component because as an adult, I can't take some of the risks that somebody who learned how to do.
Feet overhead when another part of the body is not touching the ground makes no sense. Yes.
Right.
It becomes a relative behavior that, like, leaving the ground and your head being on the bottom is a problem. Something has happened that is wrong and your body acts as such.
Right.
It's like, oh, nope,
there's
don't do that. Don't do that. We're the wrong way. We're the wrong way. Gravity. Look, remember how this
yeah,
works.
right. Yeah. There are people like me who have that
Oh,
in
no.
place
I think that's
because
literally
yeah.
an adult thing. If you don't, like, stay in the practice of, like, doing flips and shit, like,
Mhm.
no, there's a point where your body goes, we don't do that anymore, right? You're only allowed
Yeah,
to do that, like, on roller coasters occasionally because you don't ride those as often as you used to anymore either. So, the loops and the twist.
yeah, and even those make you nervous sometimes.
Yeah.
So like
And you're attached to stuff, and you're like, okay, yep, apparently that time's
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess where I was going with that is to tell an athlete that's been training since they were 5,
Oh,
you know,
that you're not getting to compete. I mean, it was kind
that
of what they
you're
were telling them in the beginning. They were like, we're
yeah,
postponing it, but we don't know for how long. We don't know if this is a cancellation or not. So those athletes right off the bat
yeah.
were like, what? You mean
Yeah,
I'm
they
not?
already
Because
waited a year.
a year
Yeah.
in that could be the end. Like
Yeah.
they were in peak ready for the games when they were
Right.
happening, peak ready for the games. To put
Right.
that off by a year, like they may have passed their prime. They may not have the to do that because they pushed so hard to
Yeah.
get ready for that moment.
Yeah, precisely. So it's not fair to them. I really think that for their sake, they should do the games, but like have it be no spectators.
Which they
Yeah.
pretty much already agreed to. They were
Yeah.
like, no spectators. But now, now with the rampantness of like COVID positives
Yeah.
amongst the whole Olympic Village,
I know. What the heck?
you
Like
know,
what is
so
happening?
yeah, whatever started causing all of that, like I don't think it's a country of origin type thing. I don't think it's a base, but like these people were all tested coming in, and all of us tested like during like being there. I guess some was dormant and other stuff. Like all of a sudden, how
Well,
this
it's
all
hard.
came out because it's not even all a local strain either. Like what they got in the Olympic Village, it is different.
Do they
It's
know? So it's not the Delta strain?
Oh, it's probably every fucking strain. It started with the people who were building, constructing, cleaning, getting everything ready
Mm-hmm.
uh, before the athletes came in. The athletes came in what? The last week they started coming in, and
Last
Right.
week. Yeah.
three tested positive. You don't know if that's because they were there or they brought it with them, which I'm
Uh,
assuming have
Well,
to
we're
be
assuming
there.
they were tested before they left.
Right. Yeah, you would think you
On
would,
several
first off,
occasions before they
the
left.
fucking
Like
fuck you would
this
have
would
to.
be because of the heightened awareness and everything else on how we've handled everything else so softly. As a global community, have been able to really handle things pretty delicately.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would have figured this would have been the requirement, like multiple tests all the way up until the time you leave, and then
Sure.
arrive quarantining, like, and then
I mean, get
testing
on
while you're
board right now.
quarantined to
Look.
make sure that these are,
Yeah. So
but they were
71
able to. They've already said they were able to get there and just kind of hang out together.
71 people so far affiliated with the Olympics in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
I've gone down with COVID.
Yeah.
The last, there were 3 athletes who were there who are infected. One of them is an alt. And then we just held back, I think it's 6 athletes who tested positive before leaving. I believe it's 6 athletes. So, I mean, look, the
Wow.
numbers are going to go up.
Yeah. So even in the sense of having the games, like some of these athletes aren't going to see that time anyway. This is what the difference that a year makes with some of these
Yeah.
people. This is, some of them spent that entire time from lockdown actually locked down and just training in a very small circle. And so
Mm-hmm.
some of the exposure is just by coming out finally
Mm.
of their bubble
Mm.
to go travel. Like you should know that some of that's automatically going to happen because now they're entering a whole new circle of people, period. Like just to leave from their space to go to the Olympic Village, even if they had plans on being in a bubble, like you got to get your bubble to the other bubble, and they don't travel without touching a lot of other bubbles.
Oh,
yeah.
So that exposure rate goes up during that.
Are they requiring them to get vaccinated? Because I heard a whole bunch of them were not getting vaccinated.
Can't require anybody to get vaccinated. Not yet.
Well, the Olympics can.
Yeah,
Nobody
the
can.
Olympic Committee could put
Yeah.
that in place.
Well, they could, but that goes against all your rights as a human being in any
Well,
fucking.
whatever. You want to compete?
Yeah, I was gonna
you
say
get
this
vaccinated.
isn't a human rights
Yeah.
thing
Yeah,
at this
like
point.
I said, I don't know what the deal is. Do you have to be vaccinated to be part of? And not does it fucking matter if people are vaccinated and we're getting all these breakthrough cases because of a new variant? This is one of the reasons why, after doing a ton of research, I'm still going to wait. I want to know what's going on with these so-called booster shots.
I'm
Well,
going to a
they're
Brewfest
saying-
Saturday. What are you talking about?
To a what?
A Brewfest.
What's a brewfest?
That's where you go
Okay,
and
I'm
drink
not
beer.
talking to J7 anymore.
Where
I'm-
is that the same one you went to last year?
I didn't go last year. Remember?
Well, a year before.
Yes.
You know what I
It's
mean.
the same one I've continuously gone to every year they've been having it.
I just got my access code for my press passes for the car show.
Oh,
Final.
nice.
Yeah, finally. So I'm sure you've seen the Jim Hanna.
You and who
Trap-
are going?
I don't know. As of right now, I'm going to see if I can take the babe. I'm going to put her down as my photographer.
There you go.
Nice.
I don't know what Wren's doing. I'll speak to him tomorrow, and we'll iron some shit out, talk over some shit, and ask some questions. Find out what the fuck is going on there.
Okay.
Wren. How the fuck is Canada like the lowest country with infection rate next to Greenland?
Ooh, I looked up my local stats, and you know we're at like a 0 over 10 days.
Oh, that's a good thing.
That is a good sign.
Yeah,
Let's see.
kinda low here, but-
COVID numbers worldwide.
I was curious. I mean, because Canada really, I mean, if they got like 1 million cases, that's it.
Well, I think that they just opened their borders to.
Right, because they did what we fucking said should be done worldwide.
Oh no.
Close the fucking borders. If you remember, I was screaming about it. Close the fucking borders. Don't let anybody in
To-
or out.
Well, yeah, yes, from anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you remember, when our president at the time wanted to do that, he was called what was the word? A Zionist, or what was the word he was called?
Um,
Fucking remember. You can't do that.
xenophobic because he only wanted to have it applied to China.
Yeah,
Well, that all
he-
changed.
No, he couldn't,
Yeah.
because he stopped everything from Saudi Arabia and India and Africa, which is completely fucked. I mean, they're not even getting fucking doses yet. The world's fucked up. This is, like, it's all about the money. The world could not come together to create a vaccine and everybody chip the fuck in and distribute it worldwide. No, couldn't be done that way. This is the most asinine way to deal with shit. It's totally fucking stupid, in my opinion.
Well,
1.4 million cases. 1.4 million cases in Canada, with a whopping 26,000 deaths.
We had a little bit of an uptick since the 10th. Last time I had checked was the 10th, and we had had a good
million.
series of days. But yeah,
Jersey's been pretty good too.
7-day average now for us is like 35. So 35
That's
new
not bad.
cases.
It's not bad. I mean,
yeah,
not for
We had
Not for
42
anything.
yesterday.
this plague,
Oh,
pandemic.
I hit my year.
All it is only death rate 2%. You had your what? Year? Your
hit-
year?
I hit my year.
Holy
what do you
shit!
mean?
Really?
July 20th was my year.
Congratulations.
From your job?
Yep,
Yeah.
I got an email while I was at work.
Wow,
did
look
you-
at that.
Yeah,
So
it was
there?
funny. That morning I was getting ready to get off work and I'm standing there and now I have my phone pass. Ta-da!
Nice.
go.
My UPS phone pass, so I can carry my phone into work now. But
Very cool.
yeah, so I go to see the email and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. Today is my year, because I go to work one day and get off the next day. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wow.
first thing in
Very
the morning
cool.
they sent me an email going, hey, congratulations on 1
That's
year.
awesome.
And then at 5 years, I get a plaque. And then at 10 years, I get something else, and then it was like at 20 years you get
Yeah.
some really fly shit.
Oh yeah, that's
Damn.
when you get watches and shit like that. You 30 years, you get a fucking Rolex. Have a
Dude,
nice day.
they got banners inside the fucking building for our 30-year employees, man.
Really?
Like, yeah, no shit.
It's like a fucking Ring of Fame. Like you're at a
Congratulations. Here you're fucking bam, you get your banner. You get your name added
Can
to
you
the
can-
fucking banners and shit. Yeah.
And well, if you're there that long, can you ask if you can get yours in the fucking red and gold to match the, the Washington
Oh,
football team?
I mean, maybe by then they'll have that kind of capability to let me maybe do something like that, but no. No, it is a ring of honor or something like that. I think is what they call it.
That's fucking
You
cool.
get a patch to wear on all of your clothes, like that you have, that is a circle with your year number in it. Like said 20, 25, 30. Like we got guys walking around there with 30-year badges.
See, now, John J. Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center is only showing, and they have this actually broken out, 61 cases for the Summer Olympics 2020.
Hmm.
When today I read specifically in the paper and watched it on 2 different newscasts that the number is now 71.
I actually remember reading 71 as well. So I
Yeah.
don't know why they're
I
maybe
don't know
not.
what the discrepancy is there.
Maybe that one is for just athletes? That would be my guess. That would, but why make that distinction? Does it really matter?
If you're, I mean, if you're running around with a full access badge, you're part of the Olympic team.
Yeah.
Whether if you're just the guy who fucking stands and raises a flag when the ball's out, you're still part of the Olympic team.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why that's a
No,
distinction
like
they're
the
making.
judges, they're all part of the Olympic team too. But yeah, so I was just looking it up. It says 61. Yeah, interesting. No deaths yet. That's a good thing. Be great if we saw that shit like live on TV. Somebody got coronavirus running around, all of a sudden passes out, dies.
Oh
That'd be-
my god.
That'd be cool. That'd be good, especially during the hammer throw. Throw that shit into the stands.
What, somebody just collapses due to COVID?
Yep. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Not for anything that seemed like a very, very, very directed attack, but
It wasn't directed. It was just kind of graphic and disturbing. But that's.
Do you know somebody that went to the Olympics?
No,
a hammer
no.
throw. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
hammer throw.
it's only been one of the biggest stories like from the Olympic trials was the young lady that turned her back on the American flag during her acceptance of her
Yeah.
second or third place. They purposely played the national anthem and she turned her back from the flag because she's
Right, that was the
protesting.
American, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And, what
And
happened-
she's a
and
hammer
what happened-
thrower. That's
and what
why
happened to
I
her-
say his oh, it's funny you'd pick the hammer throw out of all the events that you could to reference.
Well, the only reason why I picked that one is because it's the first one that starts the prelims of the Olympics, and that chick got her ass beat yesterday.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, she got her ass.
Yeah, she's a
beat
slinging
by-
motherfucker though, man.
Yeah, well, she got beat by, and I don't want to say Swede because that was the women's soccer team. That
Well,
got
I thought
their
it was
ass-
weird when I saw her on the podium how big those other 2 girls were. I was like, man.
right.
I was like, those other 2
Yeah.
girls on the podium are like some big girls. I was
But
like,
if I'm not mistaken,
I
she
was,
got beat
I was
by,
actually really
12
proud. I was like, yo, this girl could sling with these big girls. That's what's up.
I think she got beat by like 12 meters or something like that.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
ridiculous.
Yeah.
pretty
Like
fucking-
relatively,
pretty
she was a
stiff.
relatively smaller person in comparison to some of the other competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was impressive. Like I said, her trials were really nice.
What was
But
the
I didn't like
deal
her
with
makeup style.
the-
Her makeup style was really weird. I didn't understand the whole like what she had
Yeah.
going on with that.
Yeah.
Like I
What were
never
you gonna
never dove in for an explanation on it or anything. I just every time I saw her, she had a pretty wild makeup scheme.
Mm,
I was like, okay,
Mhm.
that's interesting. I mean,
Ah.
you know, she's young enough that, you know, Zoomer, young millennial, whatever, like, they do stuff like that, I guess. It's out of my
Yeah.
age range. I don't know.
You
Yeah.
millennials and you
Hey,
zoomers
I'll
with your
admit to
makeup.
this point and being the old man in this scenario. I mean, no shit. I don't get it. I just look and I go,
Yeah.
oh, so that's what people are doing now.
Yeah.
That's just kind of I can move on with my day.
more.
What do
more
you
I think-
guys think about what's her name? Shakari, the relay runner who
Druggy?
ended up who ended up not going because of weed.
I
But
mean,
hey, you broke the rules.
like I say, in every situation with that, yes, it's a ridiculous rule to have in place, but the rule's in place, and that's, I mean, a rule's a rule. The NFL holds their players to the same kind of regard. The, you know, other sporting organizations, pro sporting organizations, all hold people to the same kind of testing feature. So if that was the case, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it is a rule that we all can, you know, have our own opinions on, but I'm sure most of us disagree that it should be in place, you
Yeah.
know. But it's still there, and it's unfortunate, and that's about all I can say about it. It's just unfortunate that
Country to country
that
is
is
different.
still a problem, and
Well,
and
you know,
that
and
a
they
good athlete is actually being held out of a position because of some stupid test.
because of weed, and also she was disqualified. Like the okay, the rule said that the 30-day suspension, which would keep her out of the Olympics,
Hmm.
um, for the 100-meter dash, but they could have chosen her to be on the relay team because like on the relay competition because technically that was outside
Outside
of
the
the
30 days,
suspension
right?
and they chose not to. I feel like they singled her out.
Well, occasionally you'll see an organization take a stance and make an example, you know, and we've seen this Olympics come under a lot of fire for a lot of various things. Lots of
Hmm.
various things. So I'm sure
Yeah.
their committee, their PR committee is ape shit right now, just trying to put out every fire coming around them, and they probably just have no clue what to do. It's a poor group of people who are probably like all fledgling now because the other people quit. They were like, "Fuck this, we're out."
I mean,
I just
look,
don't
Yeah.
see it being a good situation where like the PR team would want to stick in there.
look, not
Hmm.
for anything. There are only 4 places outside of the United States where weed's legal. 4.
Well, we
Yeah.
led the charge in getting the rest of the world to criminalize it.
Right. So
Like
now
we
we
did that.
we are in the process of changing our laws to decriminalize it. You know, you see your sports. I mean, football this year will be the first time weed is. It's okay. It's okay. Last year, no, it wasn't okay. Now
Right.
it's going to be okay. But you're talking United States, and 4 little fucking spots. One of them is like I don't know, some fucking islands, probably Aruba. Okay, there's a place in South America somewhere around Brazil.
Hmm.
Okay, there's one in Europe, which I'm sure is Amsterdam. And the fourth one, I don't know where the fuck this is looking at the map because I'm not the best geographic.
Geography.
Yeah, I'm not the best at it. I don't know where this is, and it's definitely lying like somewhere near the tip of Russia or whatever country meets up with that by some fucking sea. But so you knew as an Olympian that the shit's not legal in other countries, and you're going to fucking Tokyo where it's not legal at all. So why wouldn't you have detox for 30 days, passed your fucking drug test, spent your 2 weeks doing the Olympics to come home to fucking smoke out?
Well,
I
You're
mean,
this fucking stupid, then you deserve the ramifications.
I do. You knew the rule.
uh,
You knew the rule, and there are, like I said in the beginning of it, it's unfortunate that the rule's in place, but the rule's the rule, and you know all these things. I don't make an excuse for the behavior because, like, you knew the rule. It was what it was. Like,
well, okay.
and yes, we all admit it's
So
stupid, but
a couple of things on that.
unfortunate.
Where she was competing, it's legal. Like
Yeah.
she was competing in Oregon, I
For
believe.
who she was competing for, it never has been. So
Yeah, look
let's
at
So
not
that's number one.
let's
And then number
not cloud the
two.
situation with like, oh well, the point in time and space I was standing, it was legal.
yeah.
Well, okay, so then geography doesn't come into this
I
conversation.
mean, you can talk to any
Right.
you can talk to any Denver Bronco who was fucking suspended from football
Yep.
because they can smoke weed at home, but come to New York to play the Giants or the Jets and get drug tested. You failed. You
Well,
failed.
and yeah, an NF an an NFL policy before. It didn't matter. Even in Denver, they couldn't smoke weed because they
That's
still
right.
played for an NFL team. So it's a
That's
corporate
right.
policy. Like it's you
Canada,
you just
Uruguay.
it is like there's jobs that even after it's federally legal, there are going to be companies that are going to be like, yeah, but we don't want marijuana smokers in our company, so we are still allowed to drug test for marijuana. We can,
Yeah, I mean, just to be fair to her, like she hasn't made excuses. Like she's been like, you know what? She said why she did it. Apparently, she found out that her mom died from a reporter, and that's what led her to kind of seek something out, like weed.
right.
But she hasn't really said that it's not fair or anything like that. She's just been like, you know what? I'm responsible. I
Right.
know that it was my choice. Yeah.
The people have rallied into this situation, and
Yeah.
social influence is what we're speaking more on instead of even
Yeah.
her opinion. Like,
Right,
it's not
right.
like she feels betrayed and she feels done wrong. It's people just are like, your rule is fucking stupid.
Oh yeah. I
That's
mean,
that
it is a dumb rule. Like that's
and
kind of
that's
where I'm
what we
going.
all agreed on from the very
Yeah.
beginning of this conversation, that we agree the rule is stupid, but the rule is the rule, and she even understands that it's just one of those things that, unfortunately, time came around and screwed her up on that one to, get that kind of information. And
You want to hear something fucked up though?
it's rough.
You want to hear something fucked up though? As far as this weed conversation, Mexico, which has got to be one of the fucking largest companies for drug cultivation and shipping.
Uh-huh.
It is weed is legal for private and recreational use in Mexico, but you're only allowed to possess. You ready for this? 5 grams or less.
Yo, how the fuck do you do that?
What the fuck is 5 grams? You're at the store every 3 hours.
I mean,
Well, maybe every
uh,
okay, so let's say every 10 hours, because I mean,
I
5 grams.
was like, come on, man. I was like, I
Five,
even know people who will just buy
come
a
on.
gram and that's what they smoke that night.
Yeah, well, that night before bed. But if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a 20 bag, a gram. What the fuck is that? That's a joint.
Right.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're
Ta-da.
right, if you're rolling a blunt, then 5 grams is only going to get you 2. If you're lucky. You could be at the store every fucking 4 hours. Let me get some more of them Doritos and another 5 grams, please. I mean, shit. Not Mexico. Spain has a fucked up law. It's legal to smoke weed, not in public. Can't smoke anywhere publicly.
okay, I kind of understand that.
And you can't really buy it anywhere. Good luck. But you can grow it, and they don't care how tall the plants get. I never heard a law on that before.
Wait,
Never
okay,
heard of law
so you
on
can
all-
grow it
Yeah.
and smoke it,
Yeah.
but you can't buy it or sell it.
No, it's sold in like pharmacies, and 90% of the time it's sold out. I guess their distribution is to like, oh, you want it legal? Sure. You can get an ounce a week to the store. Good luck buying it. It's a little fucked up. I just read.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, there are several places that, like, when they put stuff in place, they forget key aspects of, like, creating a trade environment for it. Like, DC did that. Like, Washington, D.C. made it where you could legally carry 2 ounces of marijuana around with you, and you could gift it to people. Like, you could exchange, like, here's you some weed and here's you some weed.
I'm
That
wrong.
type of shit. But you couldn't sell it. There was no marketable law written in, so you couldn't open a dispensary. You couldn't, like. So there were weed stores that were literally like, "Oh, you buy this shirt, I'll give you this bag of weed."
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a delivery service around here that you can order from, and the weed's free. You don't pay for the weed. The weed is free.
What do you pay for?
You pay for the box of snacks that it gets delivered in.
Nice.
So you know,
I get it.
it's all that shit. So you can buy like a $50 box of treats and get a an eighth of an ounce for free. If you want to buy an ounce, you got to spend like $410 plus whatever delivery charge. Works out to be $420, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Har. And you get a huge box of treats. I was wrong. In Barcelona, Spain, there's no limit to how high you can grow your plants. It's not a criminal offense to cultivate marijuana, but it is illegal to traffic and sell it of any controlled substance in Spain, period.
So it's not in pharmacies.
No, it's not. You can grow
Okay.
it yourself, and that's it. Can't sell it, can't distribute it.
I mean,
Grow it, which is bullshit because we know we got a gray and a black market, depending on what country you live in.
So
No.
what if
What if?
I grow it
Right.
and then I sell you a T-shirt and then give it to you?
I don't know if it's legal to grow weed in New York.
No, I
we
mean,
weren't talking
if
about
I
New York.
live-
Why would you do that?
If we lived
Like,
in
why would you move the whole
Oh,
conversation
Barcelona.
from where we
Yeah.
were having it?
Oh, no, okay. I don't know. I guess you could do that because you're technically not selling the weed.
Man, fuck
Right,
that shit.
I'm
You know
just
what I'm
giving it
doing?
to you.
You know what I'm doing? I'm teaching everybody in my neighborhood how to grow weed, and we're all growing different shit and just trading it around the fucking neighborhood.
See, yeah, that's what I want to do, but we're not
Yeah.
allowed to grow here. You know,
Yeah,
I
see,
mean,
I'm not even messing with all that other stuff. I'm not worried about making the money on it. Me and the whole neighborhood just go. You come to my street, it's gonna be smoke.
you know what's funny?
Yeah,
though?
you know what? If they were smart, they could probably build a whole little economy around it. They could build like a bunch of snack shops and then make money from the snacks,
Right.
but then give people the weed, and that way they're not selling it.
That's right. Community
I mean,
grow
think
ups would
about
be amazing.
You got.
That would they would make so much money.
I mean, you definitely can make money if that's the way you're going to do it. You just go to your local wholesale place, your BJ's, your Costco's, your Sam's Club, or whatever the fuck it's called anywhere. Buy all the candy and shit because it's dirt cheap there. And then
Yeah, but I don't want the cheap seed. That's what you're missing
no,
out
I'm not
on
talking.
the opportunity.
I'm not talking. I mean, talking snacks. There's no such thing as cheap snack. I mean, not cheap as in poorly made. I mean, you can go to BJ's and get or Sam's Club or Costco and get a box of 24 Hershey bars that sell in the store for $1.40 or whatever the fuck they cost, and you pay $8 for it. Now you got 24 of them, and you can then just break them apart and go, okay, that's $1.50 for that. I want $1. Instead of the 40 cents you paid for it. And now you're making pretty much 50% profit, and then throw in your weed, and you're good to go.
That's true. You can just go to BJ's and buy a bunch of snacks and then make money that way. But I mean, like, snacks especially made to go with the weed.
Motherfucker, I would be fair fooding. Fair fooding. What are you talking about? I'd be making like all of the fucking cakes and sausages and turkey
Yeah.
legs and shit like that. I'd
Can't
be
do that in
selling
here.
everything all the
Can't do it in
time.
Jersey. Not allowed to do it in Jersey.
What?
You're not allowed to cook, bake goods, and sell them in the state of New Jersey. We are the only state left in the nation that you can't do that.
Wait,
That
like
sucks for
any
you. I'm glad I don't live there.
Yeah. You know, like
Yeah.
like for example, there was a client who used to come into the tax office and would deliver jars of pickled goods.
Okay.
Peppers, pickles, horseradish pickled goods. This is what she did. She sold it. That was
Okay.
her side hustle. This little old lady. Yeah, she
Mhm.
got in trouble for it because didn't have proper whatever. But the point is, she could do that. Not here in Jersey. Can't do it.
That's hilarious.
The only thing you can fucking sell out of your house would be the vegetables that you grow in your garden.
Wait, so if I wanted to create so you can't be a baker
Nope.
in Jersey, basically?
You
Nope,
can't be a
not
home baker.
Not a home baker. You got to have a storefront.
Oh.
Wait.
Okay.
Bruh, do you understand like bake sales? Like
Go figure.
you
Go figure that.
you understand those are a thing, right? Community bake sales, like
Yep.
where Girl Scouts and other little community groups like bake shit schools. Like
You get bake sales at school. Yeah.
yeah, you just bake something and people buy it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
bake sales.
You get
So
away.
New Jersey's not allowed to have bake sales.
No, they get away with that because that's for educational purposes. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
believe it or not, just like
Wait,
That's
so you
bullshit.
can?
yeah,
That's bullshit. Then I'm constantly
complete
educating the world
bullshit.
on how good baked goods are.
right. You
Yeah.
know?
That's complete bullshit. That feels like one of those like crazy laws, like
Yeah, they're
you
finally
can't sit on a milk
No
crate
position but
or
missionary.
like
they're finally
yeah, like
allegedly they're going to take that law off the books and be good for the economy. People can make more money now. The pandemic, we're gonna let you bake and sell shit from your house. Go fuck yourself.
that is the dumbest. The fact that that's a law in the first place, it's like what? Like,
New York law for growing weed, by the way, you're allowed to have 3 mature plants at any one given time,
okay,
and
great.
3 immature plants.
So you can have six,
Oh,
but you've got to make sure
You gotta
that
have a
your
cycle.
rotation's right.
Yeah, you got to have a growth cycle going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's going to be
what?
regulated by the Office of Cannabis Management.
What is okay? So okay, to what you just said.
Yeah, but where's the legality? Where's
that?
the legality on
And-
inspection?
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Cuomo what his plan is. Are you going to go door to door? You got weed in here?
Well,
Are you growing it?
and who
Okay.
was your enforcement? It can't necessarily. Is it law enforcement at that point that would be doing it? Wouldn't they need a search warrant? And wouldn't it be futile to try and get a search warrant for something that's legal?
It's like this, but like imagine reporting somebody like, "Hello, police. This person's got 4 immature plants and 6 mature plants. They're clearly over the limit."
Yeah,
Just
they
send
would
someone
they
over."
would take the
Like-
excess. I mean, just like in any of the locations, like California, all the time, they would seize the amount of overage and still destroy it.
Yes. Who is the MRTA? What? That's who's regulating MRTA. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Regulation.
Who
Taxation Act.
checks that? And also, why is that a thing? Like, why do they care what your growth cycle is?
Because of the black market still being in effect federally. Because if you buy an apartment and fill it with marijuana plants and don't live there,
Mhm.
I mean, you remember the
Bro,
TV
us-
series Weeds?
You're great fucking TV.
Oh yeah, I remember
It's
that.
because of shit like that. That's why. That's why they limit you on the number of plants and stuff like that, so that you're not growing legally for illegal ops.
Oh, and by the way,
Ah.
you can't start growing your plants until sometime close to 2023.
Oh, so you can't even have anything yet.
I guess if they're immature and about to be mature, sometime around 2023, because the law in New York is they're going to change all their laws. Like right now, you can have up to 3 ounces, but it's going to be up to 5 pounds. But only when New York sells its first dose of weed legally. See, it's legal right now in New York, but you can't buy it anywhere. It's kind of like New Jersey, same thing.
Yeah.
Legal
So
here, but
you can't buy it or sell it, but you can have it
Hold
in
on.
pretty large quantities.
Hold on, what about the weed balance that was running around? Wouldn't they grandfather in to be able for distribution? Wouldn't they already have the permits in place to be able to start distribution?
No. Look at New Jersey. Okay, we're gonna make it legal. We don't know how we're gonna do it, but
Yeah.
it's legal on November 9th. It was legal. We voted it in. It's legal, but it's gonna take them up to a year and a half to figure out how to sell it legally. Well, okay. Well, there's dispensaries all over the place. Just divvy it up. Half for medical, half for recreational. Sell it to the people. No, I mean we can't figure that out yet. Can't figure that out.
All they
It-
have to do is just do whatever California did.
You can smoke weed anywhere in New York.
You can?
You can walk down the street and smoke it.
Since when? I thought it was still illegal to smoke it.
As of April 13th, 2021, right now, New Yorkers can smoke marijuana almost everywhere they can smoke tobacco.
I was going to say smoking to every area that you're allowed to smoke tobacco would be the qualification there because it would qualify under the smoking ordinance that New York has in
Mm.
place. And New York does have a very, very solid smoking ordinance.
Cannot
Right.
smoke weed at bars and restaurants, obviously. How about this one? You ready for this? You can't smoke weed in your car.
It's
You
a
can?
it's an enclosed facility. Like I said, New York's got some really weird fucking smoking laws. Like you can't
I mean, I get
smoke.
it. You should be driving and smoking weed, but I'm going to park and hang out in a parking lot and smoke weed in my car. Nope, can't do that.
No, you can get out of your car and do it.
Right, you got to
Yeah,
stand
you can
outside.
park your car, get out of your car and do it, but you can't sit in your car and do it.
Yep. So if you're a landlord in a public building per se, like New York City housing or whatever, if there's a smoking section there, you can smoke weed.
Yep. But New
A
York's laws are
smoking
usually
section?
New York's smoking laws are usually tied to roofs and windows.
Right. If you live in public housing, you can't smoke weed in your own house.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're in public housing, New York State public housing, you cannot smoke weed there.
Right.
You can go outside and smoke it.
You can't smoke there. We can
Right.
pull that even the extra word out of that. Like it's all tied to their smoking ordinance.
Exactly. I just
So
thought it was
remember all of the places that you couldn't smoke cigarettes? Yeah, still applies for your marijuanas, guys.
right. Exactly.
Your
Yeah.
marijuana.
Anywhere you can smoke tobacco legally is where you can smoke weed, except in your car, because you don't really own your car.
Yeah, considering the fact that you pay road tax and
Yeah.
state tax and federal tax on your vehicle.
Yeah, and congestion tax now in New York too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gotta love that one. That's always a home run right there.
yeah, you're paying for
Right,
the privilege
amen.
to use to put that vehicle on the road and use it. You're not. It's not never really yours.
No.
Like because if it was yours, what would you do with it? Like the roads aren't yours, so
I mean, you can take it out of New York.
you'd have to get it out of New York.
Can't cross
Oh.
state line. That's illegal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
are you following me now? Like, you'd have to get it out of New York. Like, it would not. It would you buy it and it would sit there because
Right.
it couldn't leave the dealership.
Yep.
Unless
That's
Carvana transported it to you, and then it couldn't leave wherever they dropped it off at.
Right.
Well, you could get Carvana to drop it off somewhere else. Or you could have it towed there or truck there.
Ah, that's true too. Fill my truck full of weed, please.
Coming in?
That would be kind of funny.
That would be hilarious.
But yeah, look, to get back to your point of this whole conversation with the athlete who tested positive, this is the only country that and it's not even legal everywhere yet. It's only 35 out of the 50 states. I mean, okay, wait, UK, Yeah, UK,
hold on.
London,
Fact
England.
check that.
England. I think it's 35 states now, if I'm not mistaken. England is a smoke anywhere. It's legal.
Hmm.
I think that is the only country where it's legal. Amsterdam's not a country.
No. The
Because I know
city.
people out there are going, "No, Amsterdam, you can smoke." Amsterdam's not a country. It's part of the Netherlands, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken. There is
Let me
no
see.
other country, period. Doesn't exist. We're the closest at a full country. I mean, I guess England. England's a country, right? Yeah, England's a country.
England is definitely a country. Yes.
England's a country.
A guide to marijuana
Mhm.
legalization. Recreational marijuana is legal in 19 states.
19 states.
I thought it was more than that. I could have sworn. Well, recreational. It's
Yeah,
35.
that's why I'm
35
going
states.
further into the list so I
Recreates.
can.
Thank you. Yes, I do stand corrected. 35 states have medical marijuana.
Well,
and
no,
19
no, no,
legal.
no. See, that's not even accurate either, because that's 35 states have a form of marijuana legalization. It's not 35 that have marijuana that have medical. It's not that it's 35 who have a form of marijuana legalization on their current state constitution.
Mm. See, this list
Yeah,
is.
some
I don't know.
places do have medical. Some places are fully legal, so they don't. There's no
Right,
medical
we
bills in place on most of those behalfs. Like that just went fully. Like a place like Colorado, who didn't go through the medical step, they just didn't put any of that in place. So, but they're counted as the one of the 35 states that have
right.
or have medical.
Mhm.
Shit, I keep saying medical. Have marijuana legalization on their books. But
So
it's
Yeah.
you said 19. My list is 18, but I know there was a new state that just came on. So we'll go with that 19. Out of those 19, only 11 have a shoppers market.
Yeah,
Like,
hold on. The latest approval.
Somebody new came along.
Oh shit! There's two, three. All right, so New
So
York,
there's because
Virginia, and New Mexico
Connecticut,
legalizations were approved in March and April
yeah,
of
Connecticut, Montana,
2021.
New Jersey, Connecticut, Montana, New Jersey, New York, New Mexico, Vermont, and Virginia were all added to the list, but they haven't begun selling yet.
right.
So it's
The
legal, guys. So you can
the
add those
the
to the.
timestamp was Colorado 2012. This is for full recreational legalization.
Right.
Colorado 2012, Washington State 2012, Alaska 2014, Oregon 2014, Washington D.C. 2014, California 2016 for full legalization, even though we know they were medical well before that.
Right.
Maine 2016, Massachusetts 2016, Nevada 2016, Michigan 2018, Vermont 2018,
Yeah,
Guam.
yeah, go on, man.
So they said this is also. Let's now make an amendment to the list. This is not states. This is states or
Province.
provinces
Yeah.
or territories owned by the United States.
Right, because the Virgin Islands, you can
Right.
smoke.
So da 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 da. Now that they put Guam in here, and we know Guam's not like it's not a state.
Right.
So, all right, Illinois, May of 2019, New Jersey, November of 2020, Montana, November of 2020. South Dakota also November of 2020, Arizona 2020 also in November. Like that was a big ballot year for them.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And then New York March of 2021, Virginia April of 2021, New Mexico of April of 2021, Connecticut June of 2021 being
Four-
the last state just added.
14 states. Zero recreational and marijuana usage. Totally illegal. Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Nebraska, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Texas, Wisconsin, Wyoming. They don't even do medicinal.
Right.
Like,
We have synthetics that are used here.
Yeah.
Is what we've like kind of determined is what we found out. You can get a
Okay.
derivative, but you can't get like actual THC content. Or yeah,
Mm. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. Truly cannabis. Buy that stock.
Uh, yeah, I still feel like I want to hold off until I get a full understanding of like how.
okay. I've got your 35 or actually more
Yeah.
here, Webb.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a map that has a dark green for legalized,
Uh huh. Had that up.
a slightly
Mixed
lighter
use.
green for medical and decriminalized, with the variance being on this, and also added to this is a purely medical state or a purely decriminalized state, with
Yeah.
Nebraska and North Carolina
Uh huh.
being fully decriminalized.
Right. It's not legal, but you can't get in trouble for it.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
That was Jersey's first thing. Was
Yeah,
all right.
those
let's
two
keep it.
states are the ones that are sitting at decriminalized. It you got a shit ton of medical states. Medical. medical. God dang it, boy, there's a lot of states. But they're on this
18 that are outside of the original 19 where medical, it's medical only, is the numbers I have. I mean, we might be looking at.
fully illegal. I've got South Carolina, Tennessee, Kansas, Wyoming, and Idaho. Fully illegal. Mississippi has mixed because there is medical and decriminalized, according to this map.
Oh, this guy must have been high when he wrote this article then.
Here you go.
Totally
I'll drop
possible.
this into this
Yeah,
conversation
I'd be
right here.
I'd be curious. I'm gonna.
There you go.
Ooh, boing. That went right there.
Yeah, I mean, put it right there in your face, man. I got
Yep.
you.
Doom, I see that. That would be chat or bam, and then I'll give you what I was looking at. But you know, again, the point of the conversation was the gymnast, Olympian rather. Yeah. You broke the rules in 169 countries, including the one that you were planning on going to.
Well, but she didn't break the law in the state that she was competing in.
Also,
Well,
all of that
yeah.
is irrelevant because
Yeah,
she was
she wrote
doing
that.
it for an Olympic committee that
Yeah.
has a ban on it. So
Yeah,
none of this
IOC.
other we're just stretching out a conversation that's even like in her particular situation. It's unfortunate. We all agree the
Yeah.
law is stupid, but she knew the rules. I can't defend anything in this situation except for yes, the law is dumb, but unfortunately, it's the rule right now, and that's just it.
Yeah, it's really sad. I
Yeah.
felt like
I'm disappointed that she
yeah.
had this very unfortunate circumstance come into play, and that apparently the Olympic Committee kind of probably told the group that, like, she can't come to the Olympics at all. Because the 30-day suspension, like you said, she could have got into it, and we can pretty much acknowledge the fact that the Olympic Committee was like, yeah, but no. We don't care that you think you're going to manipulate the rules to get her into the Olympics. Like, the suspension, just call it for the Olympics.
So sad.
Yeah. And like I say, it's
know.
all unfortunate. Like, when you look at it across the board, it's unfortunate. But, there's no... The Olympic Committee didn't break any rules by doing it. Like, it's their
No,
rules.
they're not breaking any rules.
They're just
it's
being
just
dicks.
asinine.
Yeah,
it
they're
doesn't
just
make-
being dicks
yeah.
about it. And it's unfortunate. That's all you could, at that point, you're
Yeah,
just like,
I mean,
damn.
it sucks. I mean,
You
it definitely
suck,
sucks.
and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it does suck. See, this is on-
It'd be nice if you had a way to stand in a courtroom and argue some kind of case for it, but it just
I mean, no, she would have to do that, and she's not gonna do that. Like she
Right.
was being pretty, like, hey, I did this. I know that I shouldn't have, and I'm willing to pay the price. I'm sorry I disappointed anybody. So it's really just a matter of, I don't know.
public opinion is what's taken over.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel about the Olympic Committee a lot, kind of like I feel about the NFL. I feel like they have all these asinine rules in place that make it harder for athletes to be their best. I think. I don't really like the way the NFL treats people. I feel like I would like the NFL a lot more if the NFL treated people better.
That's a good point. I can see. I mean, they're definitely making leaps and bounds to protect their players, even outside of football now.
Well, I was gonna say they've stepped up.
They've stepped up a little. I mean,
Well,
I
a
guess-
lot in the grand scheme of the fact of the NFL that I grew up with versus this NFL now. This NFL is a lot more understanding and open to a lot more conversation than the old NFL would have ever been. So, they've grown a lot, but change is happening slow.
Right.
Like, because
really
just
slow.
for them to entertain a lot of the conversation, especially like around CTE, just to entertain the conversation, like just the opinion to finally go, okay, yes, we'll talk about it. That's huge in the grand scheme of it for them to even take that approach. So yes, the
Hmm.
studies and stuff that are coming out and everything else like that information's all being slow because the NFL just opened up the conversation and is just kind of acknowledging all the facts and just kind of allowing a lot of these things to really be dove into, just like these places that are legalizing all the drugs because they just want to find out what the basis is. They want to study them, and they're like, we can't study them if they're illegal.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same situation here where the NFL was just so hush hush and so lock and key for so long that now that they've opened the page, like that's a big step for them, which is like you never thought that would happen, that they would ever pull back the curtain at all.
Hmm.
But the process
Um.
now that they have like is just kind of getting through the process, and it's definitely a very slow one. You know, they're not
Um.
pushing it along by any means.
Yeah. Okay. True. I still feel like the way, well, I guess to go a little bit into the way the whole Black Lives Matter thing happened and how Colin Kaepernick was just banished, basically.
Blackballed,
You know, like
stonewalled, hidden. Yeah, pretty much
the
tried to
NFL,
completely
like,
remove him from the NFL.
yes, for what? For kneeling?
That was a very, very odd situation all the way around on how it all like came to be and what it was supposed to be, and like it's all very diluted with a whole lot of other charged things going on. Like
Mm-hmm.
Kaepernick was kind of the example
Yes,
of a lot of climate that he was just trying to make some awareness to.
yes, but he didn't do anything wrong. Like,
Right, he consorted with several different outlets to make sure that he tried to walk a very fine line because he knew it was going to be kind of tough. But like we said about the Olympic Committee and making an example of her, this was the sports world turned around and goes, you got to handle this NFL. We can't go this way. And that's kind of what happened. Like he became a sports martyr, like not even just an
yes,
NFL martyr. It was uh-uh. And it was weird. Like I said, there was so much going on like around that situation that like the NFL's actions weren't just the NFL's actions. There was a lot of pressure from a lot of areas for like Kaepernick to do what he did and for other people to stop that from happening. Like there was a lot of
well,
combat going on that like nobody was really aware of until that moment happened, and then you're like, oh shit.
yeah, it was crazy because he didn't really break any rules
Well, actually,
that
yeah,
I
he did break an
understand.
NFL rule. They did. Webb reviewed what the rules were. That there was a very specific way that the NFL has the national anthem and the player presentation. Like there is a very specific. They have a rule on the rule book for it. Yes, he
Ah, okay.
technically did break a rule,
Hmm.
but they tried to make it about something else, and that's when like some soldiers spoke up and was like, "No, he asked us.
Plus, also,
What could he do to not go this way and still kind of get his point across?" And they were like, "Well,
Right.
this is what we do."
and the other
And,
thing there,
and so that's the route. That was the route he took, but the whole conversation was unwanted by the entire controlling sports athletic bodies, and at the time the like governing bodies of the nation also didn't want
To
this
have
going
the
on.
conversation at all.
Yeah, this
Like,
this was not what they were wanting at all. So there was a whole lot of backlash, And that's really, it wasn't like just an NFL decision to get rid of Colin Kaepernick. That was a lot of other powers that be that were like, you better stop this now before this
Oh,
conversation becomes a problem.
I love how that worked out.
Yeah, it was also at a time where the NFL, very money hungry, greedy organization. On the books was the rule that you must stand at attention for the national anthem. If you don't want to do what needs to be done, stay in the fucking locker room.
Yeah. Literally,
Those
that was your
rules.
options. You could come
You were
out
going to
and
get
follow
fined.
procedure, or you could stay in the locker room.
Right, you were going to get fined for staying in the locker room, but you're not going to be suspended for any other bullshit. And
Right.
the reason behind that law on the books is because, customarily, the government, our beautiful government, pays the NFL a mere $5 million a year.
To play the national anthem at the start of the event.
Really? I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah, they get
Wait,
paid.
you
That's why.
you thought commercial companies were gonna just put their allegiance behind a country?
I thought it was like tradition. You know, kind of like in baseball, they have somebody throw the first pitch. Like, I thought it was just tradition. I didn't realize that the government paid them to do it.
I mean, it's during the TV broadcast.
Again, I just thought it was tradition. I thought it was like one of those things.
That's why we were talking about like the Olympic
Yeah.
Committee in the very beginning. How we were talking about how the Olympics were like the games of nations, where you can put your best athletes forward to compete in friendly competition against each other. And then now it's so corporate. It's the same thing with like your big sporting organizations. Like that, it at a point becomes a business, and everything that they do, that TV
What
time
a
is
waste
valuable.
of fucking
How much-
money.
Do they get like
what?
do they get a bonus for doing it during like the Super Bowl? Because they got to pay somebody else to come in and sing it that's like very notable? Like, does part of that money that they make from what the government pays them to is the 5 million literally going to like whatever superstar sings the anthem at the end of the year?
I'm like shook right now. I had no idea that it was a paid thing. I thought it was like tradition.
She
that
thought
you
national
have-
pride was an actual
Yeah.
thing in the NFL.
The only team,
I mean,
the only team that I know of in sports, and I could be wrong on this, but well, let's take Major League Baseball for example. At seventh inning stretch,
yeah.
seventh inning comes around, the Yankees play "God Bless America." They're the
Uh-huh.
only team in MLB to do that.
It's tradition.
Right. Boston plays "Sweet
Yeah.
Caroline," and Canada probably plays their national anthem of "Oh Canada" or some crap. But
Mhm.
there is no only one
Yeah.
team has been paid once in 100 years that I know of to play "God Bless America." There was only one time, and it was 50 grand. But
Why pay them to play God Bless America?
I don't know.
When was it?
That's what I'm looking up right here. I got it in front of me.
I was
but
like,
this-
if we figure out when it was, we'll kind of know what the motivation was
Yeah.
based on the highlight of the time
The
period.
U.S.
We'll-
National Guard agreed with sentiment and paid MLB team over 50 grand to play "God Bless America." Does it say what team? Baseball.
Less
no.
concerned about what team.
It looks. I don't know. National anthem has been a staple for 100 years
Because the
baseball-
date could be so crucial.
Yeah, sure. If you're talking war years, then you'd completely understand.
The day after September 11th, the National Guard pays the Yankees to. I mean, it's a possibility
Yeah.
that
yeah,
this
yeah.
is a thing. Like that's why I'm saying the date is so critical. Like you can easily find out why it was done if we can just pinpoint this date.
Yeah, I'm
Because
looking.
we can go, oh, what happened the day before, or what happened? Like it's gonna be one of those moments. You know, was this the day after Benghazi? Like,
First time the Star
what?
Spangled Banner.
Ugh.
I mean,
The
when
first
would
time
you?
The first time the Star Spangled Banner was played at a baseball game was May of 1862. The anthem didn't become a main staple in baseball until the 1918 World Series.
Okay, and
That's a
are
lot
they
of.
paid?
That's a lot of
Nope.
life. That's a
Nope.
lot of life for it to not be a thing.
The United States government has rewarded teams for playing the national anthem and doing right by military. According to a government report in
Rewarded.
2015, the DoD spent at least $53 million of taxpayers' money on at least 50 teams to stage military theme events.
Well, okay.
Okay,
And
that means to
then
support the
I got-
troop
that
shit. That's the other stuff.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
specifically
That's
the anthem.
that's not the anthem.
Wisconsin Army National Guard paid the Milwaukee Brewers $49,000 to play God Bless America during the seventh inning stretch in 2014.
2014.
14.
That's of no significance in American history that I'm aware of.
I'm trying to think what
2014. I mean, there was nothing going on then.
something major happened in 2014. I'm trying to figure it out.
I know that the biggest deal in all of sports was the Mets versus the Phillies, which was the first baseball.
To
game
feel my
played
best means taking the best.
after
The best health solutions and
Osama bin
supplements.
Laden.
Personalized for my body. Back
Predator death kill. That was a big fucking deal because that was also the only baseball game played that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Ebola
Okay.
epidemic becomes global health crisis.
Yeah, and
Disasters
that-
in Malaysia Airlines.
I still no reason.
Ukraine and Crimea.
I mean, this has something to do with Wisconsin.
Deadly Israeli-Hamas conflict. Rise of brutal terror group as the Islamic State. The world shows its competitive side in the Sochi and Rio. This is 2014. Republicans take control of the Senate in the midterm elections in 2014. Comedian legend Robin Williams and Joan Rivers both died in 2014.
Oh man, I'm kind of reliving all this now.
Fatal use of force
Spangled-
by police in America for the what is this one? St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. No,
That was
Oh God. Okay, so there was
hold on,
nothing to be
that was
paid.
only. And number 10, robot makes first ever comet landing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there was like
International
it
attack,
wasn't
Cuba.
like a specific conflict going on.
No,
I
the
mean,
top
there
11 events that happened that year, nothing really stands out that would be
Yeah.
something that would make that happen. So that was just
May-
that was a budget move.
Yeah, they may have had money left over.
I was like, that sounds like a
Something.
surplus budget move, like in
Yeah.
something that they could easily write off and get away with.
I mean, I know the NFL's been getting paid years to play the national anthem.
Yeah, but it's also like, the way that's worded, though. It's also for the support the troops week and
Oh yeah, I mean,
all that
yeah.
shit.
Okay, so it's not just to play the anthem.
Well, I'm saying
it's
just
to
based on that
do-
statement, like we're not getting any clear like definition of the budget balance here on how this is actually what the earmark is for this money, except for military support and promotion.
Yeah, that's really, I guess, really all that it is. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Besides,
essentially
you know,
what this is
stand up
saying.
for
It's
your
not
country.
national support at this point. They're just saying military support, like to show open military support.
I mean, at least it's not like Pledge of Allegiance.
What, not allowed?
No, I mean, it's
Well,
not-
that would be weird because, like,
Well,
you have
see-
to pledge allegiance before you watch a football game. I mean, damn, that's intense.
did you ever pledge allegiance before you were taught shit in school?
Yeah, but that's different. I don't know.
How is that different?
Because you're a kid, you're being taught to be patriotic. You're being taught to have
You're
respect
indoctrinating.
Gaslit,
Yeah.
taught, gaslit, or brainwashed? Which one?
Well, I
I
don't-
mean, indoctrinated.
Are you gonna add that to the list of $7, $10 words?
Indoctrinated? I mean, I don't feel like I was indoctrinated. I feel like it was just a thing I did every morning, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of how just being
Right.
naturally exposed and embellished into a world that way. That's how you get
And it
indoctrinated
didn't
into it. Like it just
really change.
it's nothing you really think about. Like it's just it happens.
I mean, I would say that the omission of certain things did more to damage my, I guess, growth as a person than any kind of daily pledge. Like, I didn't learn about the Japanese concentration camps until I was in college.
Which ones? The ones over there or the ones over here?
The ones in California.
Oh yeah, okay, here. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was World War II when they were rounding them up.
Yes, I didn't learn about
Yeah.
that until way later. I feel like, how could you omit that? Like, that was huge.
I learned that shit in school. But I went to I don't know, it's very liberal, I guess. They taught a lot of shit not in the textbooks.
Okay, you were lucky, I guess. You had like teachers who
Especially in high school,
yeah.
I had a history teacher who was from South Africa, and he detested the American history books.
I bet. Yeah.
Because American history teaches you American history as they want you to be taught it, not world history as the world knows it.
Right.
You have a conversation with someone from England about World War II, and you will get two totally different stories about the same fucking battle.
Yes.
Okay? Because
Yes.
American history is all about hurrah, 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 whereas other countries pretty much try and teach you the truth of what happened.
Yes.
You know,
The
especially
truth of what happened where.
well, in any kind of battle. I mean, look, Normandy. Oh, we stormed Normandy and we took it. But how many people died in Normandy? Now you know that because of the 7 movies you've watched. But
Right.
growing up as a kid, you didn't know that. You just knew
Yeah.
we sent a bunch of fucking boats. Some people died, but we stormed the beach and won the war. And here's a
Right.
fucking flag going up by 7 soldiers that are moralized somewhere on this planet. But
Right, which was not even at
Right.
that location.
Yeah. Right.
Or
But
during
you
that
don't
war.
know that it was fucking millions of people dead on that beach. You know, everyone who died on that beach, 90% were fucking Americans. You don't learn that shit. They don't want you to know that. They just want you to know it's, you got to sign up for the draft because America's good, America's great, and it's okay, you'll serve your time and come home. No, and that don't always happen.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I feel like, so I think my original point, and that
rounding
there's been more damage made to the edification of our youth
it's only going to get worse.
by
It's only going to get worse.
omitting facts from history just so that we don't have to deal with it. Like, can I tell you how much I love German people? Just
Okay.
because they're the complete opposite. Like, if you look up how they treat what happens during the Nazi, the Holocaust,
Sure.
like, if you walk down the street, they have the names of the people who were like kidnapped from their homes and
Yep.
killed
Yep.
right on the street. Like,
Yep.
this
And a lot of-
house used to belong
Yeah, right in front of their houses. Yes. you
right in
walk
front of
past,
their
yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
Kids in school are taught, they do lessons where it's like, okay, take a box and fit as many things in a box as you can.
Yep.
And this is all you're taking with you. You have to leave right now. And they have the kids try and process how to do that. It's like, that's like there's some trauma involved there, but it definitely helps you understand what people would have been going through at that moment. It doesn't try to be like, well, we had a little snafu with a guy with a stash, and we beat him. Everything's fine. Like, they definitely stay in the moment and try to own the mistakes and the things that happened instead of sanitize it. And I feel like maybe we're too young as a nation and we're not there yet. And we just keep trying to pretend like a lot of the bloodshed and
I don't think
sacrifices that people went through in our history didn't happen.
I don't
Like,
think it's not
why?
too young of a nation. I think it's a matter of everyone in the political circles and realm are trying to rewrite history like that never happened.
Hmm.
No, we're good people, and we should love everybody despite the color of your skin because all that shit that's happened in history never happened. What are you talking about? That never happened.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know if it's so much of a young country as more of it is the propaganda of teaching that is portrayed in all levels of education, including college.
Including college to some extent. Yeah.
There are some colleges where I fucking what are you kidding me? You're gonna like this whole critical race theory. Are you out of your fucking mind? You're gonna teach this shit in school, like the 1819 or 1819 project. What are you fucking kidding me? That's not how history happened. Deal with
Well,
the fact
I
this country has been a racist fucking country from day one. Let's not forget where our feet came from.
well, I think that's what critical race theory is supposed to achieve, is it not?
Who the fuck knows what critical race? I've read half that shit, and I don't get it, and I don't understand it, and there's a lot of it that never happened. What?
Well, my understanding of it is
I mean, it's like this,
critical race theory is meant to highlight that there are racist roots in the founding of our country.
I would hope so, because
That's what it's supposed to achieve.
Right.
My understanding of it, at least.
we're a racist fucking country to begin with.
But people are against it, though. People are saying, "Oh, I don't want my kids taught that they're racist." Like, what? What are you talking about?
I got to do more research on the curriculum of critical race theory. I spent a lot of time on the fucking 1819 project, which is utter trash. Utter trash.
I mean, I actually agree with that. The 1819 project, is that it?
I think it's 1819 project, right?
I think that's a miss. I don't think it's called that. The 1819.
Or is it 1619?
I'm thinking 1619.
1619. Right.
Yeah, 1619 project. And I have read parts of it, and I don't think it is. It should be taught as fact or anything like that. But I do think that it's worth knowing about. Like if the goal is to be honest about the roots of our nation and the bloodshed and the dehumanization of people that are at that are our birth, then we should not shy away from it. I don't know that I haven't read the entire thing, to be honest, but there are parts of it that I was like,
How are we supposed to be better as a nation if we don't know what we're being better than?
Exactly.
yeah,
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But a lot of the whole 1619, thank you for correcting me on that, J7.
mhm.
A lot of it's a bunch of bullshit, man.
A lot of it is kind of poorly written.
Everybody who came here was a slave. That's not even fucking true. It's so not true.
Well, no, not everybody
Okay.
that came
You were
with
voted over here in the fucking 1700s, darker skinned than the whites that were here, and you were put to work in a field. That's it. They were slaves. No, they weren't.
Well, no, there are some people who came here who were indentured slaves.
Indentured servants. You
Yeah.
cannot be an indentured slave. That's not possible.
Okay, indentured servant. My
Indentured
bad.
servant.
That was my understanding.
Which means, you know what? I'm going to put you on my fucking boat and get you out of this shithole country you live in. I'm going to take you over to this new country where you're going to help build it from the ground up. You work here for 5 fucking years, and then you know what? I give you the land you're on. Go on your way and build more. That's an indentured servant. Not everybody who came to this country was a slave. That's
Yeah.
utter bullshit. Oh, by the way, 70% of everybody who came over here was an indentured servant.
Well, at that time, but that didn't last long.
Why? It went on for like 40, 50, 60 years or some shit. It went on for quite some time that everyone was indentured servant.
Indentured servant.
Thank you. Really? Yeah. But so to not even like talk about that or teach that in any kind of critical race or 1890, that's bullshit. I get it. Thumb's absolutely right. We need to know what our history was that was so bad so we can learn to be better.
Yeah, I
If we just
agree.
erase it all and forget it all, that means we didn't learn the lessons from our past. And what were we all told growing up? If you don't learn from it, you're gonna do it again.
Right, history repeats
Yeah,
itself. So let's not fucking tell anybody what history was so we can make the same mistakes all over again.
exactly. I totally agree 100%.
Hating
I
someone based on the
Like,
color of their
it's
skin
not
is
pretty
asinine
to look
fucking
back at. You know,
period and story.
it's not pretty to look back at. It's never gonna be. Shit is
No, but
hard fought,
I
and
mean,
all
what
great
country?
things are done with sacrifice. And if we're gonna claim to now continue to be a great nation, then we got to acknowledge that. We got to
I mean,
acknowledge
yeah,
all
I
of our
think
dirty past and all of the people we stepped on in order to get here. But we're all here together now, so let's
guys,
celebrate that fact and
what country doesn't?
acknowledge
yeah,
the
let
fact that we made it through all that nonsense, and we're clearly better human beings than our predecessors were, even though they were great people who made an incredible sacrifice in order to establish this nation for us
Yes.
to be able to do what we do today.
It's just it kills.
yeah.
Like, what
Yeah,
country
it's a
doesn't?
wild mix of things. Like, because if they didn't do what they did, what is to say that any of this would be here?
No,
And we
right.
like
We
the
have
fact that this is here
to
now.
right. No, we have to be totally honest about where we
Yeah.
came from, and we have to own the fucked up shit that happened instead of trying to, you know, sweep it under the rug and pretend it didn't. I feel like you know what? I feel like that's at the heart of what's going to make us really great. Like I don't really think like we've gone through so much over the last I don't know
Say
decade. I'll
16
say.
years. Say 16
Yeah,
years. Like, the last
y-
16 years have been pretty wild.
but I think that if we're gonna move forward and not slip and become some kind of I don't know terrible place to live,
On the dot.
we yeah we need to face who we were and just make peace with it so that we can move forward and fulfill the potential of our dreams. And I think we can end there. I feel like that's a
Let
good
me
thought to
channel
end
my
on.
Jeremy Clarkson on this one. And on that bombshell, we'll see you next week. A-Bib Rose, we out.